Is Hosk a hero that you should get here in Call of Dragons? Let's take a look into Hosk today. Now, if you are curious, Hosk is a premium hero in Call of Dragons. It's not something that everybody can unlock. You have to spend money to get Hosk. If you go into your bazaar or here into the honorary membership, you can actually get Hosk from this page. And as you can see, in here, Hosk will cost about $20 on the first purchase. Just similar how you would purchase for Lilia token, you will do the same way for getting Hosk here in Call of Dragons. Now, as you can see, you can unlock Hosk at the beginning of level 10, and you can purchase Hosk further in here with level 11 as it increases its price from $20 to $50. And I assume this will still be a $50 at level 12. Most likely level 13 will be $100. And then we got level 14, which will still be $100. And then over here, this one I think is $100. I think that's the price range for this one. I think there's some charts within the Discord group. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really exactly know what's the pricing in here. I'm just assuming that this will be still $50 onto the level 12. If somebody knows it, please leave it down in the comment section below. Now, the question here is, who should unlock Hosk? There are different types of players in Call of Dragons. There are the free-to-plays, medium spenders, and then the big spenders. Now, if you are a free-to-play, you're already out of the equation. You will never get Hosk because you are deemed to be free-to-play, meaning you are not going to be spending anything within the game. Therefore, you will not be able to purchase Hosk here in the VIP store here. So, that leaves us with the medium spender and then the big spender. All right. Now, if you are going to unlock Hosk and you're only planning to do a max skill of the first skill, which is 5, and then you will do a 5-1-1-1, it may work in the early stages of the game, but late game, it will not be so useful. It won't be great. You can even do 5-5-1-1. It will serve you well, but again, it will not, put you in a very good position long term. Now, if you're going to get Hosk, I would really recommend to buy it all out because in the last skill here, you can see increases maximum legion capacity of 1500. That is a lot. Now, who do I recommend Hosk? I recommend Hosk to players who are going to have the money to buy Hosk. If you have the money, you can go ahead and go get Hosk. It is not only that you're going to get the hero here, you're also going to get some speed ups, and you are also going to get some treaty that is going to help you to increase further for your rally building in here. So, if you are a spender and you have the capability to buy, I would say go and buy Hosk. It's not just because Hosk is a good hero in Call of Dragons, but it also adds depth into your account. Because as we know, as we play Call of Dragons, there is a stamina in Call of Dragons. So the more heroes you have to play with, the more fighting chance you have in Call of Dragons. So if you have the money, get as many commanders as you can to unlock and try to max it. And you can actually have a better fighting capability in the game. So basically, if you have the money, go and unlock Hosk. If you don't, then just skip Hosk. It's okay. It's not something that will definitely negatively impact your gaming. All right. Now, let's take a look into the skill overview of Hosk here. Hosk is a overall rally and precision. So this is going to be a high damage hero here in Call of Dragons. So if we look into the skill here, as you can see, Hosk gains Keen, Vigor, Rampage, increasing its attack by 20%, HP by 30%, and the damage dealt is 10% for 5 seconds. That's a lot. Now, since Hosk is a overall hero, it can work with any types of hero that you pair up with Hosk. You can go for Marksman with Hosk. You can go for Mage, you can go for Cavalry, you can go for Infantry, you can even go for Flying Unit with Hosk. Although the Flying Unit, you will not be able to get out of the obstacle since Hosk is a land animal in here. I mean, he is an animal, right? Very buff-looking animal. It's like a Calabao, which is in the Philippines. Or Water Buffalo. Second skill here, Dream of Peace. When launching a rally, Hosk normal attacks have 50% chance to reduce the target's defense by 15% for 3 seconds. Pretty strong. 15% defense reduction is huge. Now, if you guys are loving Call of Dragons content and you're seeing our video, you want to see more, consider subscribing, turn your notification on, and hit like onto the video if you find this to be helpful. Second skill here, third skill, increase Legion's defense by 25% when Hosk is the commander, and their normal attack damage by 40% when Hosk is deputy. Now, this might be a little bit confusing because if you read this, you get bonus of the 25% if Hosk is commander, and their normal attack damage is increased at 40% if Hosk is a deputy. So what does commander and deputy means? So if you try to deploy a hero here and click this question mark here on the side, you can see here when a commander is promoted to 3-star and reaches level 20, you may assign them a deputy. Deputy skill and legion capacity will have an effect onto their legion, but their talents and equipped artifacts will not. So the primary hero here is called the commander. The secondary that you add, it's called deputy. On this skill of Hosk, one of the skill will only be effective depending on the role. By looking into this, the defense is great because it's giving you 25%. Now, the defense is, great if you are getting swarmed and all. I would say if you are planning on using Hosk as maybe a melee march, perhaps going for cavalry setup, you might want to make Hosk as a defensive bonus attribute, making him a commander instead of a deputy, because you're charging into other players. You're going to be receiving more damage, perhaps maybe if you're running with infantry. But at the same time, if you do pair it up with infantry, it is also okay to make it a deputy as a secondary, like especially if you're going to be with Madeline. You can lead with Madeline and using as a tank, and then using Hosk as a secondary. So if you do Hosk as a secondary, you are then going to get 40% attack damage when he is a deputy. Now, you really benefit onto this one if you are engaged in attacking the opponent. So I mentioned earlier that being Hosk as a precision in here, he has a lot of damage. You can see it through its normal attack damage. If Hosk is run with mage or marksman, then you are definitely getting that 40% normal attack damage right away, and you're not really gonna be tanking as much if you are mage or marksman unless your frontline defense is defeated. Then that's the time that you take on damage, all right? Or unless you're specifically targeted. So you need to rely onto your gaming on how you are, playing your role. So there's really two options that you can do. Like I said, if you're gonna be more into the tank situation, you're charging in, maybe the defense bonus would be the best approach. But if you are doing the marksman or range or mage, then I would say you might want to consider going for the deputy position for Hosk. And then if you work onto the deputy position of Hosk, then you don't really have to worry about the talent tree for Hosk. Now, increasing the legion capacity of Hosk. As you can see, this is going to increase it at 15,000, which is a lot. Now, there is another hero that increases legion capacity, which is Madeline in here. And as you can see, Madeline also going to be able to increase its legion capacity by 15,000. The last skill here for Hosk is a passive skill. After Hosk, Legion receives a buff effect. Their normal crit rate is increased by 6%, and their counterattack crit rate is also increased by 6%, up to a maximum of 30%. So it stacks up in here for 6 seconds. Interesting. So it says here, receives a buff effect. Basically, when you get this skill, it is going to give you buff effect as you have Keen, Vigor, and Rampage. Now let's talk about potential pairings for Hosk. Hosk is definitely a good hero here. It gives you a lot of Legion capacity, gives you a lot of defense in here, and gives you a lot of attack as well. And also HP is great. Honestly, he's awesome all around. This is an overall hero. I would say the number one pair that I can think of is Madeline. Running it with full infantry in here and Madeline with infantry. You can go for PvP and tank. But I would say this is great because it allows you to bring in a lot of marches. Brings in a lot of legions, as you can increase the maximum legion capacity to 30,000 with both heroes combined. So if you have Madeline and you are a spender, definitely Hosk is a thing to do. For me, I'm considering doing Hosk and potentially like Lilia. It's good because Lilia has a far range combat, and I can increase my Legion capacity, which also will increase my damage overall. So this is great as well for Lilia pairing. But I'd say the best combo really is going for Madeline, and the infantry here in the game is not really that slow. The slowest units actually is the mage. Another thing that you can do potentially is if you're looking for epic, you can do Waldir. But if you're a spender, I would recommend for you to really focus on the legendary heroes in here. You can do a Bakshi as well and Hosk. That will be insane. Gives you ability to kind of absorb a lot more damage as you're charging in with your calves. You can even do Marksman. If you're using an epic, you can do Guanwin and then Hosk. Or you can do Kinara, which I think will be great. Kinara and Hosk, which is going to provide a lot of damage in the game. You can also do like Nico. You can even, honestly, you can do everything. You can do Nika as well, right? But I would say my preferred combo will go for Madeline. Let me know what you think. What is your preferred combo with Hosk here in Call of Dragons? Now, let's go into the talent tree for Hosk. You have overall, rally, and precision. So I don't have Hosk right now unlocked, but we're going to look into different heroes in here and look in their talent tree path. So let's first look into overall. So if you look into Thea in here, we can look into the overall with her. So if you work onto Hosk, you'll have to either choose one or the other anyway. You have to go for one path first. You either go for overall, you will go for rally, or you go for the precision. See, the thing here with Hosk, if you're going to go for rally all the time, then, you'll have to use that rally talent path. But if you're going to go for open field, you may want to go for the overall and precision. So let's look into here in Thea. But hopefully we'll end up being able to unlock Hosk and get Hosk as well in here. So we'll just kind of, touch the important parts in the talent tree here. So for the overall, you can see that they have the Guardian Angel and as well as the Spirited Response. When your Legion hits with a normal attack, they gain 4 additional rage. This can be triggered once every 4 seconds. This one will be when your Legion enters the battle, they gain resistance, reducing the damage they take by 4% for 10 seconds. The very interesting path in here, right? You have to choose one or the other. One is to gain rage and one is to gain basically defense in here, reducing the damage they take for 4 seconds. Both are really great for Hosk because if you work onto the rage of Hosk, you are going to get attack bonus and you're also going to get HP bonus if you can proc that further. But the thing here is that with rage, you have to accumulate that. Then I would say perhaps the Guardian Angel would be better because you do get that 4% right away for 10 seconds as soon as you enter the battle. But I'm not quite so sure how this thing works yet because it says here, when your Legion enters the battle, you gain resistance. So what happens throughout the battle? Not sure yet. We need to do some testing. After we do testing eventually in here with this talent tree, then we can say maybe Spirited Response would be better if this talent only take effects in the very beginning of the battle. Moving into the last talent in here, Cornered Rat. When your Legion count is less than 50%, they deal 2% more damage. 2% more damage is really not a lot, but this is, when you're less than 50%. So I would probably go for the Thunder Fury in here. When casting Rage skill, your Legion gains Keen and Shelter, increasing their attack by 4% and their defense by 3% for 5 seconds. Now, this is going to be every 30 seconds. I'd like this better, especially if you can maintain your march. Now, if it's open field, you can probably reset your, your target there. But, you're not really going to use this path for rallying in Call of Dragons. And I just thought about this. If this is a open field, then perhaps a Guardian Angel would be better rather than this, because every time you enters a new battle, you then activate the 4% damage reduction in here. Now we can look at Alistair here for the rally. This is quite interesting when we look into the rally in here. I would say focus more onto the damage and really not work on anything that is going to increase your legion size when you're working onto the rally path, because you're going to launch a rally, you want others to join. There's one thing here that I don't really recommend, the arson. I don't really recommend the arson. Let it burn. You're not getting any benefit for this one, because you would rather gain stats to prevent any deaths, in your battle. There's two big things in here that you have in the very start. When your legion units count is more than 50%, units deal 3% more damage. So if you're launching a rally, you can maintain it more than 50%, then this is really, really great. Now, if you can't maintain that, increase your rally on army attack by 1.5% and defense by 1.5%. So this is like when you're going all out. This is the path that you should do. I'd say this is the better path as long as you have good reinforcement for your rally. You don't need to put anything on Steel Monson. The rally speed is really not that important in my opinion. Rally leaders will typically teleport closer to the front lines anyway. This is great. The flank protection. Your legion takes 15% less bonus damage from being surrounded. Like I said, you don't need to add into the maximum legion capacity. I don't think it's worth it. Now, here's great. So after you add into the flank protection, you can work on plan of attack. Increase attack by certain percentage in here and reduces the skill damage when your legion besieging a city or a stronghold. So that's great. And then the last pat here, you have two choices. One is for HP, right? You gain 1% for every 10 seconds, maximum of 3% in the battle. And then here, the Trailblazer gets Rampage when your Legion enters the battle, increasing damage dealt for 5 seconds for 10 seconds. So, this, you know what, it's kind of difficult in here. I would say maybe since it's Hosk, go for the Rampage in here for the Trailblazer because it is a high attack damage. So maybe this would be a better approach onto the talent tree here. Now for precision, we're going to look at the Guanwin in here. In here, you really get a lot of attack damage. So this is also going to work if you're trying to do an open field with Hosk. So with this, you can definitely go for when launching a normal attack, your Legion has 10% chance to gain Onslaught, increasing their normal attack damage for 8 seconds. By 8% for 5 seconds. I like this one. You might want to go for Invincible. This one with Whirlwind. When you're launching a normal attack, your Legion getting 10% chance to deal hero skill damage. So you don't really need this one. That's an easy given in there. There's no hero skill damage from Hosk. Mighty Slash. When launching a normal attack, your Legion has 15% chance to trigger an additional normal attack. Okay. That's also great. Increase the attack of your Legion by 0.5%, so maximum of 3% up to 10 seconds. You may want to do this one instead. When launching a normal attack, your Legion has 15% chance to trigger additional normal attack, which is great, 15%. I think this one is better approach. You can pretty much do double damage there. Another combo I should say that you can do with Hosk that I forgot to mention is perhaps you can do Garwood as well. Because if you're using Hosk as a main hero here, you are getting 25% extra bonus. Then you can use Garwood to basically take more damage reduction in here. It'll be very, very tanky infantry march with Garwood as well, and you get all that healing as well. That's going to be for open field. Not sure if it's going to really work for rally. You might take a lot more deaths by using Garwood. So with that being said, I think Hosk is a great investment if you are going to be spending on it. Probably purchase Hosk here, and then I'll maybe, give you guys more of a user experience here in Call of Dragons. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again next time.